Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Ginny with the Daily Word. This week we are starting a new sermon series called Keep, Stop, Start, and it comes from a framework that Pastor Jennifer has been using with us in program staff and our devotionals off and on for quite a while now, asking us when we get to certain seasons, when we enter into new seasons of the year or new liturgical seasons or just kind of a new reality in the life of the church or in the life of our society, what are those practices or rhythms in our life that we've already been engaging, that we want to make sure and keep doing? What are the things, the habits, the practices that we might want to stop? And what are some new practices or rhythms that we might want to start? So we're going to be preaching about that for the next few weeks. And these questions that we're asking ourselves, it's not about filling up your calendar with more stuff, but it's about those practices, those rhythms that ground you, that center you, that bring you an awareness of God's presence, that open you more fully to God in some way. And those look different for everybody. So you're going to hear from each one of your pastors throughout the course of the next few weeks and get a little glimpse into what those things look like in our lives, but we hope that you'll be taking some time throughout these 4 weeks to consider yours as well. So the question that we're asking ourselves this week is, what is a practice that you want to keep? And I think a lot of us have been thinking about what is a practice that has come about for you during what I'm fondly referring to as Corona tide? What's a practice that's come about for you that you want to carry forward? I think there have been a lot of struggles, a lot of hardships during these months, but there are some positive things that have come about for us through those struggles, through those hardships. There is some good that God has brought out of it, I would guess, for all of us. And so what are those things that we want to keep? For me, a practice that has come about has to do with my calendar. And I'm one of those people who has to write everything down to remember it. I have an extensive to-do list. If you've been in my office, you've seen I have digital stuff. I have a paper planner. I have post-it notes everywhere. That's just, it may look like organized chaos, but it's the way that works for me. I'm a firm believer that the things you put on your calendar are the things that you are choosing to give priority to, the things that we choose to give our time to, that we choose to set time aside for, say a lot about what we value, what we love, whether we're thinking about it consciously that way or not. The things that we prioritize on our calendar tell us what we value. And so I also know about myself that, especially during this time when schedules are weird and daily rhythms are weird and I haven't been seeing the people I normally see every day or see on a consistent basis, that I have the tendency to know that someone I love is going through either a difficult situation or just has something going on in their life where I want to make sure and check in with them, and they'll kind of run across my mind at a particular moment, and I'll think, oh, I need to get with that person later. I need to just shoot them a text and make sure they're doing okay, and then I'll forget to do it. And then weeks will go by, and then I'll remember again, and I'll feel terrible for not checking in with them, and then I'm likely to not check in with them because I feel bad that I haven't checked in with them sooner. Now, I'm not talking about pastorally, the congregation that we are tasked with tending, but I'm talking about just like any of you, my personal friends, my family, people that I am not technically charged with with pastoring, but people that I have these organic relationships with that I love and want to check in with. So what I have started to do is to calendar those check-ins for myself. And I don't, sit down and schedule it with that person, obviously. But I write it in my planner, just like I have all my Zoom meetings in there, just like I have all my tasks for making sure that worship gets recorded, all of those things. I'll write in, text so-and-so about this, or check in with this person. And that's a really simple thing, and probably some of you do that already. But that's not normally a thing that I write into my daily schedule. I kind of consider, that's a separate, this is what I do in my workday, and these are sort of separate tasks that I want to do that I'll get done later. But for me, putting those two things alongside each other, kind of intermingling those in my calendar, has made me realize just how much I want to prioritize them equally. The work that I am called to here professionally, but also the the sort of work that I am called to in my relationships outside of the church, outside of pastoral relationships, and how I want to pour into those things equally. And I believe that we are all called to pour into those personal relationships, that they are gifts from God, and that God gives us as gifts to one another, that God asks us to care for each other. So that is one practice that Corona Brain has brought about for me, a practice that I want to keep going forward. So I hope as you go throughout your day, as you go throughout your week, you will consider what is a practice, what is a rhythm for this upcoming season that you want to make sure that you keep, that you sustain in your own life, that you might draw closer to God and to others. Thanks so much, friends, for joining us. Hope you have a great Monday.